Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving my match predictions for the first set of games when it comes to the World Cup. And finally the tournament's here. We're going to be seeing the best players play on the biggest stage in football. Let's see which players will be able to stamp their authority on the tournament and make themselves legends for their country. However, let me not get ahead of myself. What do you think, guys, are going to happen in this first set of games when it comes to the World Cup? Do you think Senegal can upset Netherlands without Sadio Mane, their main talisman? Do you think teams like Saudi Arabia can pull off a miracle and beat Argentina to shock the whole of the World Cup? Do you think teams like Brazil can comfortably beat Serbia, who we know are underdog when it comes to this competition? Let me know in the comment section. However, before I go on this video and give my predictions, you know I'm going to say like I always say, make sure you guys like, comment, and hit that big subscribe button right there. And make sure you guys in the comment section give me your own predictions. Who do you think is going to win in this set of games when it comes to the World Cup? So the first game I'm going to be predicting straight away is Qatar versus Ecuador. And what a great moment in Qatar's history when it comes to football. Their first World Cup is a historic moment. The players will be salvaging this moment. They're going to be playing with their hearts on their sleeves, and they're going to be giving their all, their 100%. And this sort of atmosphere, obviously because Qatar's the home side, it may send shockwaves to Ecuador, who may not be prepared for this game because of this. We know sometimes football is about heart, sometimes it's about passion and desire, and Qatar are going to have bags of this when it comes to facing Ecuador. However, I can't predict Ecuador to lose this game. We know they have way better players compared to Qatar. Qatar have already lost to teams like Canada when it comes to their friendlies, and they also drew to Chile when it came to the friendly game as well, who are not even in the World Cup. So this just shows how poor Qatar are going into this tournament. And Ecuador have better players, a better squad, they have way more options. I just think they are going to scrape a win past Qatar, even though the players are going to be up for it. I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory for Ecuador. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Senegal versus Netherlands, and I think this game is going to be much more interesting. Both teams are entering this tournament with high hopes, great momentum, since Senegal obviously won the African Cup of Nations this year, and Netherlands topping their group quite comfortably when it came to the Nations League. So both teams will be in high spirits and actually think they can win this game. However, I can't predict Senegal to beat Netherlands. They don't have Sadio Mane, their main talisman, their main goal source. And since Netherlands have one of the best defensive trios within this tournament, I can't see Senegal getting goals anywhere else within their side if they don't have their only world-class striker within their squad. We know Netherlands have Van Dijk, De Ligt, and also Blin at the back, Dumfries in a wing-back position. So I just can't see how Senegal will be able to break down a stubborn Netherlands side. I feel like going forward, although the Netherlands do feel lackluster at best because Depay is only their real goal scorer, and it feels like they need plenty of chances to score at least one goal, I think they're going to get at least one goal. I think Depay will pull something out the bag and make sure Netherlands win this game. So I'm also going to go for a 1-0 victory. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is England versus Iran. And I can't lie, this must be a straightforward victory for England. There's no way we're going to lose this game. We have way better players, way better talent, way better quality within the final third. As long as Gareth Southgate, like I said in my last video, plays a 4 at the back, plays a single DM, and actually goes for this game, allows Bellingham to advance forward with players like Maddison, Foden, Mount, Sterling, Kane, we should be able to wear Iran down and create plenty of chances to score goals. We know Harry Kane is clinical, so even if he doesn't get many chances within this game, he should put one of those chances in the back of the net. And England, come on man, we're way superior when it comes to football compared to Iran. Look at the last few competitions, semi-finals and the finalists. There's a reason why we're one of the favourites, and I think we'll be able to win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory for England within this game. The next game I'm going to be predicting is Wales versus USA, and I think this is going to be the game of the group. This is going to be the decider already in game week 1 when it comes to the World Cup. And if you look at both of these teams, they're polar opposites. Literally, Wales experienced old heads who know how to literally maneuver themselves within a tournament and win games when they really need to do so. Whereas the USA are young, hungry, energetic, brave, fearless players with Aronson, Pulisic, who are actually turning up for their first major tournament when it comes to the international stage. However, at the end of the day, I think Wales are going to win. I feel like you can't underestimate experience, and this is what's going to be needed to advance into the last 16. We know Wales are going to play defensive football, so I feel like this is actually going to work within their favour, so they're not going to be stretched. They are not going to fall victim to USA's high intensity and work rate when it comes to end-to-end football, and they're going to rely on their match winners within the final third of Ramsey and Bell. And how many times have they done this for Wales in the past? they always deliver. And that's why I think Wales are going to beat USA 1-0 within this game. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Argentina versus Saudi Arabia. And it's not if Argentina is going to win this game. It is a matter of fact, how many goals is Argentina going to win this game by? Argentina have too many world-class players. Like I said in my last video, this is going to be Messi's last World Cup, so the players are going to be motivated and determined to do it for him. And going forward, they just have too many options. This is going to be a stat padding game. This is actually a great opportunity for players like Martinez, Di Maria, Dybala, Messi himself to get on the score sheet and potentially win the Golden Boot when it comes to this tournament. I know Saudi Arabia have great chemistry when it comes to defending, high work rate, they know each other. The togetherness is going to be there within this game, but at the end of the day, world-class players are just going to be too much for Saudi Arabia to handle. I'm going to go for a whitewash. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory for Argentina within this game. The next game I'm going to be predicting is Mexico versus Poland, and this is going to be the game of the group as well. I feel like this is pretty much the decider on week 1 when it comes to the World Cup. This is because Poland and Mexico are one of those teams are destined to finish second. And in this game, I just think it's going to be too tense. I feel like both teams are going to understand the nature of the game, how important it is, and they're going to feel the pressure of not wanting to lose. Mexico have the experience when it comes to the World Cup. Obviously, the last 5 to 6 World Cups, they've advanced to the last 16. And when it comes to Poland, they haven't really done much. But we know Lewandowski, you can never rule him out, no matter how poor he's done for Poland in his last few tournaments or so. So because of this, I feel like they're quite evenly matched. It's going to be quite tense. Both teams aren't going to be looking to win the game. They're going to be looking to take advantage of pivotal moments when it comes to mistakes. And I'm going to go for a stalemate within this game, 1-1 between the two sides. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is France versus Australia. And I think France are very fortunate that they're facing Australia because they don't really know their best team yet. When it comes to the midfield, excuse me for the pun, but it's quite mid. This is because we know Pogba, Kante are big misses. And because of this, I feel like Deschamps, the manager, is obviously going to experiment to see who are going to be his best two holding midfielders to be the cornerstones when it comes to France, obviously advancing into the last 16. It's going to be an experimental game. I know Australia have done well to advance to this tournament and potentially could cause an upset because we know France's World Cup curse is going to be there. France have too many talented world-class players. Mbappe, who's been in fine form, most people saying the best player in the world. You obviously got Benzema, fresh off winning the Ballon d'Or. Dembele, who's literally rejuvenated himself under Xavi this season when it comes to Barcelona. Griezmann in behind him. France got a lot of options off the bench, and we know how solid their defense is when you have Konate, Saliba, the list goes on. So in this game, I think it's going to be a very dominant display from France. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory for France within this game. The next game I'm going to be predicting is Denmark versus Tunisia. And I feel like it's going to be straightforward, just like the last game I predicted. I just feel like Denmark, like I said in my last video, have done very well to get to the World Cup. They done very well in the Euros last year, getting to the semi-finals. You add Eriksen to this jigsaw puzzle, and the puzzle is pretty much complete. You got Højbjerg, Eriksen within the midfield, who can control, dictate games. Obviously, Højbjerg has improved so much under Tottenham, and we know Eriksen can obviously find and create opportunities. And you got Damsgaard ahead of them, and then at the back you got Kaher and Christensen, who are very solid and know how to defend, and Schmeichel behind them. They've got so much experience mixed with quality, and because Denmark have been on such a run, I don't feel like this is going to stop, and momentum is key when it comes to this World Cup. So I'm going to be predicting a 2-0 victory for Denmark within this game against Tunisia. The next game I'm going to be predicting is Germany versus Japan, and obviously I can't deny Germany are the favourites, but I'm going to throw a spanner within the works. I know Germany have great build-up play, have great ball players who can obviously dictate the game and control the tempo of Kroos and Kimmich within the midfield. Obviously Gundogan, who's excellent as well at doing that type of stuff, but I just feel like within the final third, it's going to cost them. And against a team like Japan, who their ethos is built of self-belief, determination, working hard and as a unit, if they know that they're always going to be within this game, since obviously Germany can't kill off games since they don't have a natural striker, I think Japan will be able to hold on and potentially get a goal to make it 1-1. I like players like Maeda, Minamino, Matoma, and I feel like on the counter-attack, they may be able to take advantage of Germany's high line. So going into this game, I actually have a surprise. I think Japan can do the impossible and actually get a point. I'm going to be predicting a 1-1 draw between the two sides. The next game we'll be predicting is Spain versus Costa Rica. And Costa Rica, you might as well go home because I don't think you're going to be able to beat the Spanish side. I feel like they're going to be too dominant. Obviously, the school of thought when it comes to Pep and Cruyff is embedded within their system and style of play. And I just don't see how Costa Rica are going to be able to get enough possession to potentially score a goal. It's going to be 70 to 30, 75 to 25%, especially with Spain having so many great players who are great with ball retention of Busquets, Pedri, Gavi, Laporte, and the list goes on. Obviously, they have similar worries like Germany do have when it comes to clinical forwards, but I just feel like their dominant display when it comes to creating chances, they're going to have a bevy of them, which Fernan Torres or even Morata should be able to score at least 1 or 2. I'm going to be predicting a 2-0 victory against Costa Rica. The next game I'm going to be predicting is Belgium versus Canada. And I know the golden era of Belgium has passed, like I said in my last video, but they have very good players who are returning back into form. We've got Tielemans and Trossard, who have been very good in the Premier League this season, especially Trossard, who has been scoring goals from that wing position. You got Kevin De Bruyne, the best midfielder in the world. Imagine pairing that with Tielemans, who we know can dictate games from deep, and Kevin De Bruyne will be able to advance in the final third to help Romelu Lukaku. I just can't see how a very young, inexperienced Canada side will be able to stop this. I know they have Alphonso Davies, but apart from that, they don't really have many recognisable names who will be able to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and potentially upset Belgium. So I think in this game against Canada, it's going to be very dominant. Canada have done well to get to this stage, but there's levels to this. You can win your group games, you can advance to the World Cup versus very low average teams, but you're facing now one of the European giants in Belgium, one of the favourites for the tournament, and I can't see Belgium not winning this game. I'm going to go for a dominant display, 3-1 for Belgium against Canada. The next game we're predicting is Morocco versus Croatia. And don't get me wrong, Morocco have the minerals, they have the pieces to upset Croatia, especially down that right hand side where you will see the combination of Hakimi and Ziyech throughout the game, who we know are quality players and always step up for Morocco when they need them most. However, at the end of the day, you're versing Croatia, one of the old heads who have seen everything. They've been out of group stages when it comes to the Euros and the World Cup. Think about the last World Cup, they went to the final. So how can I bet against Croatia not beating a Morocco side, especially when they'll need the 3 points to advance to the last 16. I think Croatia will be able to dominate this game, especially within the midfield, where there's so much quality despite their age of Modric and obviously Kovacic. Perisic obviously further ahead when it comes to the final third. There's too much experience. I think the midfield will be able to game manage if they're obviously in dire need of it and are under very much a lot of pressure. But at the end of the day, I think Croatia will be able to come through. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. The next game I'm going to be predicting is Brazil versus Serbia, and I think this is going to be the game of the week when it comes to week 1 games of the World Cup. This is because I feel like Serbia are actually a sleeper. They are underdog. I feel like they're a dark horse. I don't know why, because obviously everyone's going to be infatuated. They're going to be so intrigued to see how Brazil perform on the world stage, because they're pretty much the pinnacle of football. Who doesn't want to wear that famous yellow shirt? Who doesn't want to see the talented players within that Brazilian side taking games by the scruff of its neck when you have Vinicius, Neymar, Jesus, Martinelli, Rafinha, Antony, Casemiro, Fabinho, Bruno Guimaraes, Fred, etc. when the list goes on? How on earth are Serbia going to stop this? But I feel like they have the potential to be a party pooper. This is because obviously the expectations is going to cause Brazil to have a lot of pressure since they're the favourites. And also Serbia themselves are very talented. I feel like Brazil's weak points are the fullback positions, where we know they're not as strong as every other position on the pitch. And we know if Dusan Tadic comes from that right hand side and whips and balls with his left foot to players like Mitrovic or even Vlahovic within the box who are aerial threats, they could somehow smash and grab and win this game. But I'm not too brave. I'm not going to do that, especially since Brazil defensively with the 2 centre-backs of Thiago Silva and Marquinhos, I can't see Serbia scoring enough goals to win this game. I think it's going to be relatively close. I don't think it's going to be a complete whitewash that so many other people are predicting. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for Brazil within this game. The next game I'm predicting is Switzerland versus Cameroon, and Switzerland need the 3 points. They have to get the 3 points, because if they don't, they're pretty much out, since they still have to face teams like Serbia and obviously Brazil. Switzerland, we know, have established superstars when it comes to the Premier League of Akanji, who has been playing well for Man City, and Xhaka has been one of the best midfielders within the Premier League. And we know whenever it comes to Switzerland, he always steps up. He relishes the opportunity to be the leader, to be that great character and motivator within the dressing room to get his team right to play games. I know Cameroon have done well as an African nation to get to this stage, but I just feel like there are levels to this, and Switzerland will be eager and will know how desperately they need to win this game against Cameroon. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to go for 1-0 victory for Switzerland. The next game we'll be predicting is Portugal versus Ghana. And I know in my last video I was quite critical with Portugal, their manager, Santos, who has not been able to get the best out of his attacking options. But at the end of the day, like we've seen under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in years past for Man United, sometimes you just need the players and they'll figure out themselves. You got Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, Cristiano Ronaldo, Cancelo, who we know can create chances and can score goals at a very high level. I just can't see Ghana winning this game. I know they're going to be physically imposing and they can potentially frustrate Portugal, but at the end of the day, their counter-attack is going to be quite lackluster, especially since Jan and Andre Ayew are in the decline. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory for Portugal within this game. The last game I'm going to be predicting is Uruguay versus South Korea, and I just can't see South Korea winning. I know Heung-min Son's their main player, he's their main guy, and when he's firing, he's one of the best players in the world. But the key thing is, he's not firing. Apart from that performance against Leicester, like I said in my last video, he hasn't been setting the Premier League alight. Also, he's battling fitness. We don't know if he's going to be right when it comes to this game. And all of Koreans' hearts are going to be pinned within this guy. And I just don't feel like he's going to be fit enough or in good enough form to seal them a win against Uruguay. I think Uruguay are going to be the dark horses of this competition. I love their strike force of Suarez, Cavani and Nunes, who we know have great partnerships, and they can interchange, they can switch. Whoever's out of form, whoever's not playing well, they can replace it with another quality striker off the bench. Also, Valverde and Bentancur, who have been playing great for their respective club sides, they're going to be too dominant on the ball, as we have seen this season. And that's why I have Uruguay winning this game very comfortably against Korea. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory for Uruguay within this game.